2007. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I will be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Gerald's Game, the Stephen King adaptation currently streaming on Netflix. Joining me tonight, first up, back in the house, the business manager at Bloody Good Horror, coming to you from Manhattan, New York City. His name is John Schnorrs.
Hello, Eric.
Hello, John.
Happy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
Week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, getting one in under the gun here is great.
Should we give thanks? Well, we can do that later.
We can do that later. Next up on the show, coming to you from Indiana, his name is Casey.
Hi, everybody.
And finally tonight, I told him before the show that he, with his new haircut, he looks like Richard Spencer, and he said, "Who's that?" Because Joe's a sweet summer child. Anyway, he's also the beer aficionado here on the show. Please welcome Joe.
To be fair, I know him as Spency in our circles. So
Schnorrs definitely knows him as Spency. He went to Duke.
When we exchange Christmas cards, it goes out as Spency.
Not Richie.
John knows him as the ombudsman of the Balls and Shaft fraternity at Duke.
Yes.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means, but that sounds right.
I don't know that fraternities have ombudsmans, but we'll go with it.
Do you actually know what that means? Because I do not.
Yeah, it's the person at the newspaper who's sort of like responsible for. It's like the public editor, I believe. Is another name for it.
Yeah, my fraternity definitely did not have an ombudsman.
Well, yeah. If you were listening to the pre-show, which if you're a patron, you could have been listening live, you get to hear a lot of talk about how often Joe's doctor checks his junk, which seems like too often.
Well, it's the holiday season, so now it's bi-weekly.
Eric, don't we want people to become patrons? Are you trying to entice them?
Oh, I don't know. That would convince me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, more importantly, if you're a patron and you get the live feed, you just saw me spill half a beer on myself.
Yeah, guys, Thanksgiving just around the corner. We went right from post-Halloween morning to now it's holiday time. So now we're just trying to get in some of these picks we missed before the end of the year and the world-famous year-end show, John.
Ooh. It is coming. It is fast approaching. We haven't set the dates, but we'll probably be putting out the voting list pretty soon. I would say coming up soon. I know.
Oh, that reminds me, Joe.
We got to go through a lot of stuff.
We got to look at the last few episodes so I can update my list. I'm feeling kind of randy about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Are we expecting Mark? Is he?
Listen, I was told Mark would be here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's now 8:25. I'm not holding my breath, but maybe we'll get lucky.
To be fair, 8:30 Mark time is like 9:45.
At least, yeah.
Well, dude, he's got that commute's pretty terrible. So
yeah, from home to home, it's awful. Hey, John, guess what I did this weekend?
You cleaned out one of your closets.
No, like Eminem? No, I didn't.
I'm sorry, Mama.
I saw a fancy movie. I saw Murder on the Orient Express.
Ooh, I saw that too.
Yeah, I saw Casey
It was
post
pretty
about.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I might watch it on a plane. That's where I'm putting it.
Really?
It did not get a good review on bloodygoodhorror.com.
Oh, I really liked it. Who didn't give it a good review?
I forget. It's
one of the good ones.
Listen,
one of the good reviewers.
It's not really for the kids, I would say. I'm like
because there's like aggressive sex scenes.
No. It is very. It's like aggressively old school filmmaking. Like they took that type of movie and shot it in like Schnorrs, you would love it. It's the most sophisticated ass movie I've seen in a long time.
It's Kenneth Branagh. Did Kenneth Branagh direct it as well?
He directed it also.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you have a problem with him, or I don't really know him from anyone?
He's relatively famous. I mean, he's
Is
like
this your new Brett Ratner.
No, please. I mean, unclear on where he stands on sexual harassment / assault, but
Luke gave it a 4. That's
there you
Yeah,
go.
I honestly was surprised that we even reviewed it because I wouldn't really like. I think it falls
Yeah.
under sophistical potentially, but I wouldn't really call it a horror movie at all.
But
has
it does have
murder
murder
in the
in-
title.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. No, dude, the cast is amazing. Like everybody's got like kind of hamming it up. It's a really gorgeous movie. That mustache of his is just straight up its own sexuality. That's how
Yes.
amazing that is.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's funny though because I haven't read Luke's review, but I'm gonna guess because I had some problems towards the end of the movie, whereas there are certain things that seem to pop up out of nowhere. But Colleen, my lovely wife, who has seen the original movies a couple times, read the books, et cetera, big fan of Agatha Christie books and stuff, said that's kind of the style from that era when they came out of there and how those were written, anyways. And she thought it held up really good
No,
to
I
the
mean,
original.
yeah,
So,
I mean, if you're at all familiar with that Agatha Christie stuff, it's like it's exactly that. It's like this very over the top kind of mystery where everything, all the pieces fit together perfectly. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
way more perfect than they would in real life. But that's kind of the point. And it also just has this like, it's a murder mystery, but there's this fun, light tone to a lot of it. Also, with the inspector is very jokey and. I fucking loved it, dude. I had such a good time.
All
I'm
right,
one of
settle
the-
down.
I want one of those Kenneth Branagh mustache guards for when I sleep.
Yes.
That thing was badass.
Yeah. John, it's my #1 movie of the year now, so maybe.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I
well,
did
will
I did
update that right now.
I
The
did
big-
hear that they're making more Poirot movies, so I'm way into that.
Sweet.
The big news on my non-horror movie watching front is that I was contacted by a dear friend here in New York who has informed me that he has a 7 a.m. December 16th ticket to Star Wars The Last Jedi. I think that's what it's called. So pretty
What is
excited.
it? That's Friday.
Oh,
Mark?
he got it. He got it for you. He wasn't just calling to rub it in.
No. He got 2, and he was like, "Listen, you can have 1." Yeah, it's the Saturday morning 7 a.m. screening, Joe.
Oh, I mean, because I'm seeing it on Thursday like a real fan, but I
Oh.
guess-
No,
I mean,
I mean,
there's-
like, listen, I had
there's-
not even, Joe, I didn't even know what day it was coming out. So, like, the fact that someone texted me and was like, "Hey, do you want to go?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I want to go." And then, he had a ticket. So I think we're seeing it in IMAX. I don't know. You got that going, Joe? Where do you land on the IMAX?
no, I'm not going to pay for that.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. When does it come out?
The
Christmas?
14th, I guess.
Mid. Okay.
Yeah.
I might just wait till Christmas break or something.
Yeah.
Is this one of those
12,
things
14.
where like if I try to buy tickets, they're already all sold out? Because I'm not fucking. If that's the case, I'll wait till like February.
Good strategy. Good strategy.
To tie
No one
that
will
back-
spoil it between now and then, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
to
a
tie
fair
John's
point.
story back to Eric's fancy movie going story. Daisy Ridley was actually really good in Murder on the Orient Express, so
Dude.
it was nice to see she's not getting pigeonholed.
She's a lot of fun, and like one of my current favorite actresses is Michelle Pfeiffer. Like late stage Michelle Pfeiffer is fucking awesome. Like she's been doing so much interesting stuff lately. I enjoyed her in this.
Daisy Ridley is Ridley Scott's niece, right? Is that what the?
Are you
Yes.
being serious? or
Yes,
is
yes,
it-
I think that's how names
Oh.
work.
I think that's it. Yeah.
I literally was like, I don't know, maybe they did do something weird with the names.
I
John,
like it. I like that my stupidity is now like starting to
infecting.
seep into you, John, where you
It's
think I
infect-
might be serious.
Yeah,
You
I
said-
know. He had that look on his face like, oh no, I don't know if he's serious or not.
I like couldn't put it together for a second there.
you said that so deadpan. I actually was like, oh, I don't know. John, I don't know if we have an answer to this, but what else do we have left this year that we want to take a look at?
Oh no. We don't have a great answer. I was actually gonna say I can't remember. Did we put out a call for suggestions?
We did.
We did, and the answers we got were pretty much from mental patients, and I will never do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Whoever-
Joe got a recommendation from a movie
Can
from
I-
'98. Did you say?
Yeah.
Can I just
And
say
then-
this right now? Whoever suggested Creep 2 to Joe, which we reviewed weeks ago, you literally ruined his whole day. Like he was
Oh.
so mad. He's like, we
not
just did
one
this.
of you. The number of people that suggested Creep 2 and The Void. The Void, I can say like it was a few months ago we did that, but The number of people that suggested Creep 2, which you guys did like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, you
was
were like,
just astounding.
Just scroll back like 4 tweets.
Right. At
and
least
you would have seen that we covered
at least
it.
the void didn't just happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, the headline here is that we actually have a bunch of really good recommendations that we want to see. Mostly, there's like a couple UK films. There's a couple other sort of like foreign, like Irish things like that. But they're not available here. Like they're not being released in the US until 2017, so they don't technically count in our year-end review. Well, they're being released in 2018, so like they're not going to count.
Better watch out. I think we said that we were going to do that next week. But
Yeah, I think that based on what I've heard, that should probably be on the list if we can squeeze it in.
Yeah,
I mean, we can very much.
Eric, what we're saying is we can definitely squeeze it in.
Great.
So yeah,
we could probably do it twice.
Yeah. What we're trying to tell you people is we don't know what to do.
And you are of zero help trying to fill that void.
Yeah. Yeah, and better watch out. Currently available Amazon Video, YouTube, iTunes, all of the streaming services. So
all the tubes.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, so just to be clear, so we don't upset Joe anymore, if you're sending us recommendations, they need to be released in the US in the calendar year 2017. Those are the ones we're prioritizing. Otherwise, we'll just watch like whatever crazy
John,
shit.
John, if they couldn't fill that in based on the words that were literally right above where they were typing their answers. I love our fans, but you're all mental patients and
I mean, it's basically the end of November, right? We have at least one pick. I mean, there's got to be 2 movies we missed this year that we should get in, right? Like,
oh yeah, no, there's a couple. Like we do have a couple others that we can probably
ask Andy. He's smart.
Still got the mummy.
We did have the open question about whether we were covering what is the guy who did The Lobster, his new movie called he's the Greek guy. I can't remember
something about the deer.
Yeah. Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh yeah. I think that that one might work.
I think we should cover it, and it should be. I mean, it was released this year.
IMDb calls it thriller horror.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the trailer is pretty wacky.
The trailer says right in it that it is a horror, so it is a horror.
That's what they call it in the UK, Joe. It's a
movie horror now.
We got a horror here. Hey, everybody, light the menorah. We got a horror.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mom spaghetti.
That one is available in theaters right now. So if anyone wants to, get out this weekend, take your mom to Killing of a Sacred Deer if you see your mom for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that sounds like a
Are we
movie
doing
I'd watch.
Coco?
Yeah, mom.
Have we decided? Are we doing Coco?
Coco.
Disney's Coco.
I started watching Gerald's Game with my wife, and like 5 minutes in, she's like, "Yeah, I don't want to watch this movie. I'm gonna go knit somewhere else."
Anything else?
Joe.
Her loss.
Yes, sir.
Please let us know what we are drinking.
Beer guts.
I like that segue. That was good. By segue, I mean just interrupt what everyone else is talking about. Decide we're moving on. This is a good one. I am actually quite proud of this beer because I would say it's very Schnarzian in the connection here.
You mean you found it like 6 minutes ago? And
Oh no. I just mean there's a little bit of thought put behind the name. So Gerald's Game, beautiful little ditty about a husband-wife duo who go up to a cabin to rekindle their romance. Husband drops dead. Wife starts hallucinating and seeing all kinds of spooky things and pretty much has conversations with her dead husband and herself for, about 2 hours. So in honor of that, I picked a beer from the fine folks at Enlightened Brewing Company up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And
Lovely
this beer,
town.
yeah, this beer is their Sustained Thought.
All right.
You're not gonna allow it, John?
Well, listen.
No, I'm gonna allow it.
Whatever, dude who still doesn't have a word and it's coming up in 5 minutes.
Oh, come on. I got one.
This beer, much like the one that I just spilt all over my pants, is a coffee stout, which is, hands down one of my favorite styles. I'm a huge fan. And this one is super good. Comes in at about 6% alcohol, so a little bit up there, but this time of year, you got a bunch of turkey and stuff. So you drink a 6-pack, drink a 12-pack. You can still go out and do your Christmas shopping on Friday. They infuse it with cold brew coffee from Villant, Valentine Space. I don't know what the hell that is. Don't worry about it. But a local coffee company up in Milwaukee. So it's right in there. It's delicious. A really nice sort of balance of that maltiness and toasted flavor with that like fresh coffee. Like if you ever had like a cold brew, like this beer tastes just like that, which I'm a huge fan of.
That sounds amazing.
Not much in the way of like hop bitterness, but like there is a little bit of a backbone to it. But for the most part, like it's really that coffee flavor and that like roasted malt.
This isn't one with like actual caffeine in it, right? It's just something they got out of the malt.
You know, I'm not. No, this is like they actually put
There is coffee, okay.
in the beer, so there
Sorry,
would
I missed that.
you know, some actual caffeine. I've always been kind of curious because like I love these style of beers and I drink a lot of them, but like usually on like a Saturday night, and I'm wondering like, am I, you know, is this keeping me up because I'm drinking like a 6-pack of this? But you know, we'll see.
Answer, we'll never know.
I mean, when you're a parent, those are kind of the best hours, right? So you probably want to be up anyway.
And I've got to assume like the alcohol kind of, you know, balances out any caffeine that's in there. But you know, I'll keep doing studies and reporting back.
It's science, Joe. Sounds like
if you mix caffeine and alcohol, that basically just means you will pass out, but then you'll wake up at 4 a.m. with your eyes just like wide awake.
Yeah. Enlightenedbeer.com is their website. Everything they do is super good. They don't distribute super far, so you know, maybe if we do one of these anniversary things up in Milwaukee again, you guys should come up and check them out. And yeah, that'll do it.
All right,
could have used this recommendation like a month ago, Joe.
Yeah, no shit.
That is the beer recommendation, something you get every week here on the show. It is time. Let us take a break so that we can discuss Gerald's game.
This is it, Senator. Your big break in TV. From the prime time, bitch. Main feature.
And we're back. Hey, John.
We're just giving up on Mark? Is that what we're doing?
He said he's going to be here soon, so I'm sure it'll happen eventually. One of these days. John Schnars.
Yes.
Words.
What are they anymore, Eric?
Words.
What do they mean?
Duke.
It's like
New York City. Doorman.
How do they work?
This is the worst.
I'm just doing a little. I'm doing a little
I
Schnars.
assume you're stalling here, John, while you're like Googling, but
I'm doing a little Schnars free association here. John, please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is degloving.
Oh.
Ooh.
Is that a real word?
It is a real word, and I have a personal story or anecdote to share about
Isn't
degloving.
it a spoiler?
I
I mean, I guess it's the least important spoiler.
it is.
I was gonna
it is
say,
now that you said it is.
I was gonna say I was gonna mention that, and then here we are. Degloving is an injury of a type. It is a type of avulsion in which an extensive section of the skin is completely torn off the underlying tissue, severing its blood supply. And
John, if you stand up, will we see your avulsion?
Stand up and deglove for us, Schnars.
I heard it. Probably won't see it because I heard it was cold in New York this time of year.
I believe my doctor degloves every time he checks my hernia.
Oh,
He's like, I don't need this glove.
Finally, John uses a word I know. Because my
I'm
doctor
doing
says,
it dry.
let me deglove.
Yeah, I really want you to feel this.
all right.
I want you to know I'm there.
Just
It's like when they place the baby on the mother's stomach, so they have skin-to-skin contact.
He's imprinting on your wiener.
Yeah, imprinting.
we got to dial it back. We got to bring
Can't
this.
get an erection without seeing a stethoscope in the room. It's a thing.
Ooh, we haven't even gotten to the main discussion, folks.
Oh my God! All right.
Every time someone coughs on the train, I get a boner.
Wait a second. Wait a second, Schnars. The music's done. We gotta do this again.
Cool Cold and flu season is a nightmare.
Hey, John, what's the word of the day?
Degloving, Eric. It's degloving. And if we needed a an origin, it is named by analogy to the process of removing a glove. Okay.
Wow.
Boy.
Remember, guys, we're professionals.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that it? We're good.
Is there more? Is
Do
there...
you want to synopsize, John?
Give me the definition again, John. Or give me something. Did you have? Wasn't there some kind of tidbit after the definition?
Didn't you have a
well,
story?
Holy shit!
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, no, I had an
anecdote.
anecdote. So, the reason I knew what a degloving was before this film was in college. There was a guy who lived on my hall.
Go on.
He was an he was an EMT. Joe, this story might take the shine off your degloving, but he was an EMT, and he came back to the dorm one day and was like, "Guys, I just had the best EMT day of my life." We got to work on a dude who got trapped in an elevator accident and was a full degloving of his left hand.
Oh
Yeah.
God!
We were, and like, of course, there was like cell phone pictures, which I did not look at because I am like a sane human being. But, yeah. So,
He took pictures.
I've always had that connection to degloving.
He took pictures on his Razor phone because you went to college like 20 years ago.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It was definitely like, he had some. It was like, maybe it was on his computer. I don't know. There was a picture.
There was an artist rendering.
Yeah, he drew a sketch. He drew a
Wait,
sketch
this was
in his
the
notepad.
best day of his career.
Joe, some people really get off on the kind of like crazy medical shit, you know? So,
Oh goddamn! I don't know what the hell's happening anymore. John Schnars. What's this Gerald's game about?
so Gerald's Game
Who directed it? That's a great question.
is directed by Mike Flanagan, who has become increasingly familiar to us here. He was the director of Oculus, the director of Hush,
Ah,
Ouija 2, Origin of Evil, and now Gerald's Game. He is currently working on an adaptation of Haunting of Hill House, which will be a series on Netflix. So Gerald's Game was released. It's based on the Stephen King novel, I believe, 99.
sure.
God damn it! I had the novel page up too.
It was before that. I remember I had a copy and I was way too young to be reading it.
I'll look it up,
So
John.
ma-
Keep going.
Yeah, it might have been 92. In any event, it was so. Gerald's Game. It's a really interesting King novel.
Came out May 92.
Yeah, so 92. Okay, it's the same year that Dolores Claiborne was released, and we can talk a little bit about that. I mean,
Hey, John.
there.
Stand by. We're gonna bring a special guest on right now.
Oh boy.
CC's here?
I hope this works.
No.
Hey, there he is. Mark's back.
What did I miss?
Hey.
Feels so good.
Mark, you have to synopsize Gerald's Game for us.
Zach's gone wrong.
Also, tell us what you know about degloving.
Yeah,
Mm.
you're gonna have to listen back for that one.
It doesn't have something to do with Donald Glover.
Oh.
So when you just divest yourself of all Donald Glover in your life.
Yeah.
All right, John. Continue.
Yeah, so Mike Flanagan, Stephen King. In many ways, this is like, I think a lot of people, King fans and others, would have said this is like at the top of the list of like unfilmable Stephen King, properties.
I can't
And-
imagine why.
Well, yeah, and like clearly we've arrived at like the end of the King sort of film canon when we're making the ones that like legitimately were previously thought unfilmable. But yeah, so it's basically, as Mark said, the story of Sex Gone Wrong. It is the story of Jessie, played by Carla Gugino. Is that what we're gonna go with this time? You guys tell me.
I think it needs a little.
I think you put some like silent letters in there that weren't meant to be silent.
Yeah.
Gugino.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that what you meant by Silent G?
Who?
So Jessie and her husband Gerald the titular Gerald, if you will. They are driving to this desolate or not even that desolate, but a like cabin that they own in sort of the far-flung wooded areas of Maine.
Yeah, it's like the Schnarz's summer home.
I would love. It's a lovely summer home.
Yeah.
I aspire one day to a Gerald's Game summer home. But yeah, it's yeah, and so they go there, and their marriage is like really on the rocks. We kind of see it in kind of fits and starts in the way they talk to each other and some of their interactions and the car ride. And they get there, and they well, there's a quick sort of tidbit where Jessie gives very expensive Kobe beef to a stray dog that she is trying to help. This seems like it's going to set off her husband, you know, and kind of like get him riled up, but he demurs, and instead they retire to the bedroom, and they begin to play this game where he handcuffs her to the bed, and you know, and they're kind of gonna have like a sexy family time, and she, in the process of going through it, she kind of has second thoughts, kind of like basically asks him to stop, and they start to fight a little bit about it, and she's still handcuffed to the bed. He sort of starts to stand up and basically has a heart attack and collapses on top of her.
Don't forget
and the rest.
Don't forget he took a boner pill.
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of just like I think that was an addition, because I'm pretty sure Viagra didn't exist when they made the book.
Boner pill.
But
Yeah, that's interesting, actually.
That's a valid point. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Viagra's been around for a while.
Yeah, I hadn't considered the boner pill timeline.
Well, in any event, like, I mean, so I did read a little bit about the book. I mean, we can talk about what I would say is
Viagra's been around since 2002.
98. March 98 was its release date, it says.
All right, good. I'm glad.
Oh, yeah. From 2013 was the 15th anniversary, so it was 19. So, yeah, it was still too early for this book.
I do like knowing that both of you are on the Wikipedia page for Viagra.
But there must have been some kind of
different answers somehow.
I'm just reading the box, Mark.
I love that it's just funny that the first movie in ages based
Hard
that we've
and straight
done
since '98.
that we've done based on a book CC isn't here. So we can just all wildly speculate about the book.
No, I mean, I did do some research about the book, but in any event,
didn't read it,
no, I mean, I did not read it.
Of course.
This was like always one of those ones when I was going through my King phase that I was just like, nah, don't know if I need to get into this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the rest of the film is basically how will Jessie survive? She begins to dehydrate. There is a little bit of water she's able to get access to, but will she survive? She starts to hallucinate, essentially different versions of her own psyche, one manifested as essentially herself in the film anyway, and then one manifested as her husband. She begins to be stalked by this creature, the Moonlight Man, she keeps calling him, and her husband, basically the husband apparition, keeps referring to him as Death. And yeah, and so it's basically like, will she survive? I mean, she is handcuffed to this bed for fully, I don't know, 1 hour, 15 minutes of an hour and 40-minute film. So it's sort of not a spoiler to say there's not a ton of action. There are, I believe, 2 flashbacks that become really relevant, obviously, and kind of drive a lot of the internal action, or I guess just the action, but that is happening inside her head. Yeah.
All right. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Eric.
Welcome back. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
What did you think of Gerald's Game?
Man, what a movie to come back to. It's I longtime listeners of the show will know that I am not terribly bookish, so I cannot speak with any degree of authority on the Stephen King work from which this came. But it definitely, to John's point, feels like the sort of unfilmable tag that this had on it is still partially true. The actual like escape from handcuffs portion of this movie is actually super interesting and really well shot, and kind of keeps you, keeps your attention. And there's some like pretty gnarly effects in there. And I was telling Eric today, it's like the first time I've watched a movie in a long time where I've had to actually like look away because it was pretty intense. But it takes a kind of a turn towards the end, which I think would have been an interesting turn if it was better baked into the rest of the movie. It felt like a really weird, like, here's what happens 2 weeks later. I don't know. It just felt very strange and tacked on, and I can't say if that was something, if that's how it was represented in the book, or if that was just the result of like how it was filmed. But overall, I thought it was pretty interesting. I think Netflix is a perfect place for this because like I can't imagine seeing this in the theater and being happy with it necessarily, but it's kind of a perfect little. It could almost have been a short, which is kind of funny because it's almost a 2-hour movie, but it's I don't know. It's hard to wrap. Like I would say that I enjoyed it in that it had my attention, but I'm not sure that I would ever go back and watch it again.
Casey.
So I never read the book, surprisingly enough, because I am somewhat bookish, or at least I used to be. But so I didn't really know what this story was about at all. So getting what the story that we did get out of this, I'm fairly impressed with what they came up with for some who is essentially a one-person show for the most part, going throughout the entire movie. The first 2/3 of this movie are pretty great, I think, and I think they handled it really well. It's not like, I'm not talking like, best of the year or anything like that, but it's a solid movie, good story. Carla Gugino is amazing in this movie. I think she does a really good job carrying this whole thing on her shoulders. This movie takes a detour in the last 10 minutes that just has me dumbfounded, and I don't get it. So we'll get into that later.
Joe.
I'm probably closer to Mark. I enjoyed this. So funny enough, I bought this book when I was on vacation when I was like 14 and started reading it and then realized like this is maybe a little over my head.
And then you penned your own sequel, Joe's Game.
Yeah.
You got in too deep.
Yeah. Like... My budding hormones could not handle what was going on here. But I enjoyed it. I thought, like Mark said, it's about 2 hours. I thought it was a little long. I think it's interesting the way that this flows, and we kind of talked about it during the beer discussion. Like, pretty much the husband dies, and then the rest of the movie is her having conversations with him, and then herself, sort of rationalizing what's going on, and then sort of going back to her childhood. I thought the childhood stuff was like super creepy, and at some points like really hard to watch. But I thought some of the sort of back and forth with the husband, while it was good, I thought it went on a little bit too long, and they probably could have trimmed some of that out. And I 100% agree that the ending just felt like super weird and took like an odd turn, and felt very tacked on. So pretty much on the same lines as Mark. Like, I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I would ever actually go back and watch this again.
John Schnars.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm happy this exists, but I'm not all that happy with having watched it, and it's like, I don't know, I don't think it's ultimately that good of a film. Like, and frankly, like, some of that might just have to do with the source material. I mean, so I did do a little bit of research on the book. I was especially curious because for some reason I had in my head that this was kind of tied into the rest of the King universe in some specific ways, or at least the. I think what I was thinking about is this was released the same year as Dolores Claiborne, and they actually are they're not mirror images, but they are very related stories. So like, if you guys remember the scene in the film where she's talking about the dream she has with the well, and there's like a woman and she's at the bottom of the well and there's a woman at the top of the well. Dolores Claiborne is the woman at the top of the well. Like, I mean, if you've seen that movie, I think it's Kathy Bates' movie actually. Like, that's the reference there. I mean, they're both about the eclipse. So there is an eclipse in this movie, which is the other thing that I did think was interesting. Is like, the eclipse was like this huge deal this year, and I had no idea there was an eclipse in this movie. Like, bad marketing on Netflix's part. They could have like really leaned into the eclipse thing and like gotten some people to like maybe watch this. I think they wouldn't have.
Man, I would hate to be tricked into watching this movie.
Well, I mean, it's
an eclipse flick.
Well, but it's one of those things where like, I like a lot of the themes in this movie. Like, they are, and like, when I say like, I mean they are interesting to think about. Not that I enjoy them, because there's some dark shit. There's some like really dark shit in this movie. It's like, it's in that way, it's one of these King stories that isn't about really supernatural stuff at all. It's just about like really fucked up people doing fucked up things. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, like, I agree. Like, Carla Gugino was good, and like, I actually think Mike Flanagan's like a pretty solid director. This is just like it's a little flat overall, and like the ending, which we'll talk about,
Yeah.
goes like bonkers crazy.
Sure, we can definitely. I think we got to unpack the ending a little bit in a little bit. But like, I don't know. I might actually be the highest on this movie of anybody. I mean, it's not a movie I would necessarily watch again, but not because I didn't think it was good. It's just because the material is just kind of brutal. It's not a pleasant experience, so to speak. But I really loved this thing. I had no idea what this was about. My wife like read the Netflix synopsis to me before it started, so I at least had somewhat of a expectation. And the second she read the synopsis, I went, "Oh, okay, so he has a heart attack on her and she's stuck in the bed." Like I just knew that's what it was going to be. But I was afraid it was going to be 90 minutes of her trying to escape the bed and nothing else and no dialogue or anything. So I was pretty like surprised and excited when all of a sudden she starts having these hallucinations and speaking with her dead husband and with her sort of her own alter ego. I feel like you can feel the kingness of this movie, and the kingness of it is both its biggest strength and its biggest weakness, because every little thing in this movie matters, and that's why I love it. Like every little piece of minutia that happens in the first 15-20 minutes is important to the rest of the film, and that's awesome. Like, and it all either goes into how she escapes or survives, or it informs this character arc that she has that I think is actually really interesting and pretty well fleshed out. So, you know, the dog, they leave the door open, the stakes, the tag from her lingerie that she leaves up on the thing, right? Like her husband with a glass of water. Like that's the kind of storytelling I really appreciate. And I think they do it really well visually, but like where everything matters and has a reason for being there. It's like, so like that I think is a symptom of, most likely, I haven't read the book, but just from what the King that I've read, it's like that's a very authorly way to approach a story, right? That you don't always see in films. On the same hand, there's this, so the movie kind of comes full circle. You have this great character arc, and then literally you have a perfect moment. You wouldn't even have to really re-edit this movie. You just like, you know, when you're editing a video on your iPhone and you're just like,
just turn it
clip.
off.
Yeah, like you literally just let's clip the last 10 minutes off. And to me, you have like an outstanding movie. The part where it feels a lot like a book and it's to the detriment of the movie is where suddenly you're getting a 5-minute long info dump monologue from the main character to explain a twist at the end that is wholly unnecessary. It speaks nothing to the character progression, which the whole movie is really about. And if anything, it distracts from what the movie does so well, which is present you with this interesting, flawed character with a background that she has to deal. That's what the movie's about, right? The movie is about, I mean, it's about her stuck in the bed, but it's really about her coming to grips with this thing that happened to her. And not only like what happened to her, but the way that it has influenced the course of her life for 30, 40 years or whatever, and really kind of left her in this place that she's not happy with.
Well, I think you pinpointed the biggest issue is that they didn't show the twist. They explained the twist. It was like constantly narrated to the point where like you're getting introduced to, in the last 10 minutes of a movie is not when you're supposed to be introduced to that amount of information.
Well, it was teed up a little bit because like the husband said something to her pretty, you know, probably like second act or like end of the second act about like the footprint in the room, and you know it is telegraphed a little bit, but I agree. Like I want to take one step back really quick because like one of my real issues with this is that it actually like, for as like simplistic as it is, right? Like she's fucking in a bed with handcuffs on. They actually do tend to have, or it feels like there's a lot of plot stuff, and it's actually, I think, to the detriment of some of the character exploration stuff, which then leaves some of the payoffs around her like personal revelation or like growth and development a little. They just give them short shrift, right? Like the biggest issue I had, and some of this is only highlighted in when I was like reading about the book a little bit, but like but I felt unsatisfied, and then it like dawned on me why. Is that like the like relationship with the husband is like never really explained. Like it's like basically like pushed off pretty patly as like, well, he's just like your dad. I mean, and we haven't really talked about, but like it's not really a spoiler to say that like
Well, it's really not about the husband though, right? Like the husband is just a symptom of.
But the whole movie's kind of set up with like that's the reason they're there, because something's wrong with their marriage. I agree with you, John. Like we never really find out like what's wrong, like
Well,
other
and
than like they've kind of fizzled out over the years.
I
but-
wouldn't even say that there's something wrong with her marriage. I would say that there's something wrong with her like satisfaction with her life as an adult. And like it is traced back to her childhood, but it like it's about all of the because and look, I'm gonna say something that like you guys are probably gonna like think I'm like a crazy person for saying, but like but this is how it's
that was very high quality beef, and they shouldn't have wasted it.
no, but this is how it's presented in the movie, and and like I actually
That
think
is
it
bullshit.
like so basically like the premise is that there was an instance of abuse in her childhood. Now it wasn't like child abuse where she's like habitually abused, at least that was not my understanding from the movie, but it was one instance which was really bad. Like I'm not like saying it was good, but like and that then impacts the rest of her life, right? And like you know, we believe it, and like you like empathize with her, but like it they just skip all of the middle stuff. Like they go from like they show a lot about her as a child, and like I actually thought the most poignant part of the film was the conversation in the bedroom, which they tee up pretty well. And then
Where she's talking to her younger self.
no, where her
She's
father
talking
is
to
like
her father.
yeah, her father basically turns
that
her against
scene-
That happened after.
I mean,
Yeah.
skeevy, but that scene was so brilliant. I got to give a lot of credit to Henry Thomas, who plays the father. Like
You mean Elliot?
the layers of what's going on in that conversation are so deep. The layers of like the way he's manipulating her and planting all these ideas in his head, in her head. That stuff was like so fascinating to me. I mean, like
Sure,
it's
well, and
awful
it's-
to watch, obviously, but like it's just the way it's done. It's so good.
And
But I
that's what
agree, like-
ends up the ruining of the rest of her life. That's not fully explored, like the way that impacted her as much as it could have been. Sorry.
Well,
Jacob.
even like, no, I agree with you, John, because I think there's a lot that they were kind of alluding to, even between like the relationship between like the mother and father, that seem to impact how she's interacting with her husband. But like, again, like they don't really like highlight that as much as they probably could have. So I agree. It was very sort of loose as far as like what's going on with the husband, because there was obviously a lot of dysfunction in her parents, which I feel like probably transitioned over into dysfunction with her and her husband. But you're kind of just left thinking like, well, she had something really bad happen to her, so now like, you know, everything in her life
Well,
is
and
kind of
even
fucked
in
up.
her interactions with her hallucinatory husband, it was unclear like what his reactions were towards everything. Like he was being very sort of critical about her, but then like a little bit sympathetic when he kind of finds out about the abuse. And it was very weird. It was all played like pretty straight. I'm guessing he's just kind of like not a very emotional dude or whatever, and you know the character is, but it was kind of you didn't even get a ton of
but
cues
I-
about the relationship from that
But I get the
interaction.
feeling that that's kind of the point, that their relationship, and they sort of address this, that like he says this thing about a relationship being about telling all of the secrets, right? But what the father does is convinces her to keep the secret and then sets up basically her blaming herself. And I feel like the thread that carries through to the husband in the sense that you realize like, oh, they never actually were that close. And I think that shows itself in the way that they are talking to each other and the way that this information is sort of brought out.
But hold on, like I also think it's important to say like it's not the husband and her that are having a conversation. It is her having a conversation with a projection of her own psyche that is like in the shape of her husband. So here's the one key difference from the book, at least like based on the research I was doing. So the husband is not one of the ghosts that she talks to in the book. There are 3 ghosts, and they are herself. Like in the book, it's called the Good Wife or Goody, is like the kind of like puritanical version of herself, and that I think is what we get in the movie. The other one is Ruth, who's like a college friend, and then you have Nora, who is her former psychiatrist. So it's 3 women: herself, her old college friend and her psychiatrist. And I think the difference there is actually pretty key, because you think about the impact that a college friend would have had in that conversation versus her husband. So in reality, what we get is her childhood and then her basically marriage. But you would have gotten like a fuller picture, right? Like the
Sure, and in
end-to-end
a
picture
book,
of her.
in a book, obviously, you've just got so much space to explore that time.
I know,
Yeah.
and I guess my argument is like I felt like a lot of the space that they did use here, like the movie was not, it was long, like it wasn't like an hour and 20 minutes. Like they could have more economically deployed some of the time and done some things to try to flesh out a little bit more of her like personal development over time, if that makes sense.
I do want to
Yeah.
say that I felt like this movie visually, like aside from all the character and story stuff, which is obviously like a huge part of it, I thought it was visually tense, in not like an overstated way, but just a really solid way that kept me in it, right? Like there's these great little moments of anticipation where the camera's just slowly pushing in on something as you're waiting for something to happen. Like it happens in the beginning a few times, and then at night when she's hallucinating and she's waiting for who she thinks is death. Like I just think that this movie really actually nails those moments. Like there's a great visual tension of the whole thing. She's on the bed, and it was a little too much. Like I don't like watching the torture-y stuff where it's like she's trying to reach the glass. Like it's just it makes me like nervous. I can't watch that stuff. But I think it's done really well. So that's what's interesting is like there's this whole thing about her and her life and the character, but then this whole other aspect of the movie, which is the kind of the corporeal aspect of the movie, which is about her dealing with being like strapped to this bed. And it's brutal seeing her like she can't get her hands together. So even if she can reach something, it's like she can't do anything that would involve both hands at the same time. And that's like, that stuff was really interesting, I thought. Like spatially, I liked it.
I mean, that could have been the entire movie, right? Like I would have, I mean, it would have been harder to watch maybe if that was if the bed portion was the entire movie, but that it is not to be understated. Like there's lots of interesting character stuff, but like kind of at its most base level, this is a movie about a person trying to get out of a, like they're chained to the bed and they're trying to get out, which is pretty crazy to watch.
It made me think of Buried, the Ryan Reynolds movie that we recorded an episode on, and
I never
it
heard of it.
disappeared for all time.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar.
We don't talk about that, John.
But yeah,
Yeah, minus the snake. What was it? It was a snake in Buried, right? That was like trying to
Oh
just,
yeah.
like, crawling around on him. And in this movie, it was a dog.
oh, we had a dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
Man, that scene where the first time that she like falls asleep and has that flashback, and she just wakes up and the dog is like sitting there like gnawing on some body part, and there's flies in the room. Just like, oh God, it's awful. I mean, it's awful anyways, right? Because you're coming out of this like flashback of abuse, and you're trying to process that, and then she
Dude.
wakes up and you're in a room and there's a dog eating your husband and there's flies, and it's
The dog eating the arm is the worst. The toe sucking scene is like, that was probably the one scene that actually scared the shit out of me. Like I was not ready for that when it hit, and it just like it sent a jolt through me for sure.
Can you imagine like being the
Yes, I
actress,
can, Mark.
like reading, sucking on toes, just being the actress, like reading that script, and you're like, yeah, this happens, and then a demon appears and sucks your toes. It's like, what?
Have you seen some of the movies that Carla Gugino's in? It's not that big of a stretch.
Well, I love her in this movie. Like I think she is great in this film. And the thing that's fascinating about her is I think that she is a lot of times cast, and I think it's obviously like it's changed for her a little bit as she's gotten older, but she's a lot of times cast in these like where she's like very sexualized or this very tropey genre stuff, right? So it's really great seeing her be able to get into this and really stretch her chops a little bit and dig into this character work stuff. And I think she does really well with it for a movie that she
Yeah.
basically almost has to carry by herself.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong that she does get over sexualized sometimes in some of the movies and everything, but I mean, I think she knows. She seems the type that gets to kind of pick and choose the roles that she wants, so she knows what she's getting into with those. But it was nice though. I've always thought she was a pretty good actress, anyways. But it was nice to see her be able to carry this whole thing kind of on her own, just because of the setup. It was
I mean, I
Yeah.
do like just remember distinctly thinking that there's a portion of this movie, probably a little over halfway through, where she's talking to her like dream hallucination self, and the fact that like they really do, it's the same person, it's the same actress, and the way that she's playing both, I thought was really effective. Like it was obviously it's two completely different situations, but I just thought, to Casey's point, like illustrates how great of an actress she is, that it could have very well seemed like two different people, even though it's the same actress.
Yeah, I actually
Yeah.
like the husband acting wise was kind of my least favorite actor in the movie. I just didn't think he brought a lot to it.
To John's point, like, I mean, he was just very kind of like one note, right? Like, and maybe on purpose, like he just
Yeah.
kind of kept it close to the vest. But yeah, I would agree with that it was just like not a particularly inspiring performance. And like when you kind of get to the end and she's seeing this like weird situation where she's seeing the grave robber guy and her husband and her dad, like they tried to make the husband seem like weirdly sinister in a way that they hadn't really like queued up. You know what I mean? They hadn't really portrayed him like that prior to that, so it was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
That guy just looks like he's like cheating on his wife with his secretary, right? Like he's got that look
I
about
was
him.
about
I
to say-
mean, that was definitely the intention.
I was
right,
about to
of why
say,
they cast him.
hell of a build for a guy that age, Joe. You know,
Yeah, he did look great.
he definitely has an
or
HGH
that-
doctor on speed dial. Is all I'm saying.
I check his hernia.
Degloving.
Oh, Lord.
Good callback, Joe. Good callback.
I thought the cinematography with the eclipse stuff was really impressive. It just that whole scene, and it's such a stark visual to kind of wrap your whole thing around, right? Because it comes back to it in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
I thought the whole like childhood thing was probably the most interesting part of this in general. Like it was super, super hard to watch. And
Yeah.
I mean, the moment that they sit on the bench, like you kind of know where it's going.
That's so like such a slow build to that too. Like that whole scene is
yeah,
brutal.
it's
Well, it was really as soon as they showed the younger version of her come out with that short sundress and stuff on, you knew that it was not going to go well. And then they start the way they built it up, though, like the animosity of the mom and the daddy's girl and all this
Well,
stuff. It's just
the
like-
moment that he commented on the dress, you're like, oh Jesus, that's
Yeah.
that's where this is going.
Elliot. What are you gonna do?
He's,
we've had a
dude,
lot of
he's so
tweets.
good at being that skeevy character. I was actually like it's unreal.
Makes
I
you
had
wonder
no
what he's
idea
doing
that
with
was
DC.
yeah, I had no idea that was Elliot until now. So kudos to
I
him.
recognized the actor and I had to look up his name, but I thought it was C. Thomas Howell at first, but that's not right.
Thomas Howell is
Yeah.
the soul man.
That's right. True, based on a true story. Hey, let's talk about the ending quick, because then we got to wrap. What
Okay. It was, it wasn't great.
WTF?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
I
So
mean,
I think we've made.
I was just gonna say. So basically, spoiler alert. What we find out is that the man who we think is Death is just a skeevy dude with some weird condition that's been like grave robbing / killing people, maybe at some point.
Well, no, he's been having sex with the corpses.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't.
Well, they did- I
He's
think
been
he
stealing
murdered
body
too,
parts
right?
too.
Well, and then he escalated to murder. Yeah, he was stealing the body parts. Yes.
He's been doing a sinister got your nose trick.
Yeah. So basically, and as Eric said in your kind of earlier comments, like this basically all gets revealed at the end. She escapes. She has this moment where she's walking out and she sees the Moonlight Man at the end of this hallway as she's trying to get out of the house, and she stops and she hands him her wedding ring. Basically, it's sort of like paying the like Moonlight Man toll almost, like because the husband, it had been set up earlier that the husband was like, oh, he's going to take a trophy from you. That's why he's like coming for you, yada, yada. And so she gets out of the house and then she survives. And next thing we see is her sitting at a desk writing a note to, I believe, herself.
Herself, yeah.
Yeah. So
That
not only
part-
does she have,
that
like
part-
voiceover.
That part was okay. Like I could have handled the voiceover if it was just the part about coming to grips with her past self, right? Because then it's also mixed with the scene where she's literally in the past, in the eclipse scene, like talking to her past self. This all happens, I
Yeah.
think, after she
I
survives, right?
I think I could have dealt with it instead of seeing her writing the note and voiceover if they just like scrolled the note up like fucking Star Wars style.
But then, and then there's a point, right? So
you had to
she's,
read it.
she's writing the note. You see the eclipse, and there's just literal perfect moment to end the movie where it's all come full circle. And then she's like, oh, and about this other thing with this
Yeah.
guy, and then there's at least 5 minutes more of exposition while we just see scenes that she's explaining to us about this guy. And like, I think Mark's point about the fact that it's not necessarily the twist, although it's totally unnecessary. It's the fact that it's just told to us, and not, it's like George Lucas prequel
Yeah.
filmmaking 101. It's like,
Well,
just
and
tell
then
us
the,
what
like,
this is.
The court scene is so weird. Like, this had a very like Clive Barker-y vibe to me. I can't
It
explain.
felt like an episode of Twin Peaks. Like,
Yeah, or that. Like the part where she like goes into the courtroom and whatever he like breaks the chair. It was so weird. It was so like off tone from the rest of the movie. I just couldn't figure out how to deal with it. Like it was almost funny.
Yeah, it's
It would
very
have been
it's-
so much creepier if they would have left the Moonlight Man as something that we thought she was seeing in her imagination as she kind of spiraled out of control, tied to the bed, knowing that she's it. It would have been perfect like that. And there was, like Eric said, there was a succinct moment there where it wrapped up perfectly. And if they would have stopped it right there, this movie would have gained a couple stars easily, just for the ending of it, because it was, it was a good place to end, but they just kept going.
I understand like wanting to shoot the ending as it was in the book, but I can't imagine somebody like looking at a cut of this film and not going, "Oh no, that's like we should just cut the rest of this shit out," because
that is the guy from Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's Lurch from Adam's Family.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that might be the case. But...
So this is straight from the book. Like it's apparently
it has to be
exactly in the book.
It's so ridiculous. It has to be, right? Like you wouldn't make that up for a story that already exists.
But
you
I
gotta
agree,
think
like, why not edit it out then?
And the fact that it's all told in the monologue also tells me it's got to be straight from the book, right? Because like they just didn't know how to deal with it other than that way.
Yeah, but you got to think in the book. I got to assume that it was set up better. That there was his presence earlier on while she is strapped to that bed was more apparent as to what was going on that led to that ending, instead of having him show up in the house twice and then all of a sudden there's a 5-minute expose on everything that guy did.
I mean, and there is actually a kind of creepy aspect to the idea that she was interacting with a real person coming in and out of the house. Like that's fucking crazy. It just needed to be dealt with in a literal, completely different way.
Well, and my biggest issue is like if you're gonna go down that road at the end, you should actually show us more of him. Like he's actually not in the movie all that much.
Yeah,
and again, though, in a movie about her arc, I don't see what he has to do with it. And that's like literally everything
agreed.
else in the movie is about her coming to these realizations about her life. And other than it's a great imagery. He's spooky as hell. But what does it have to do with any of it? It feels so out of place. Especially when if the movie had just ended where it should have ended, you wouldn't have thought much about it. But because they make the whole ending about him, then you're like, well, wait a second. Like he's actually not that important in the rest of the movie.
Well, you don't really gain anything from like knowing he's a real thing, right? It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything.
I think the argument is that what it gives you is, there is like some additional sort
of where his nose went.
You just know that he actually was sucking on her toes.
No, well, I was going to say you have some additional, I guess, satisfaction in the idea that she is not just confronting her own past, which was, sort of ruined. I mean, or distorted by a man. Like she's confronting another man who tormented her, and like this is, and I think that's encapsulated in the scene when she leaves the courthouse at the very end, and she's like strutting away, sort of like victorious. Like she's had her moment of like confrontation and sort of moved on, I guess.
Well, you can tell my walk by the way I walk.
Well, that would have been a nice, like some sort of like sisters are doing it for themselves to be playing like that.
That's a very loose interpretation of that song.
Yeah, that was not right, but okay. All right, guys. Would you recommend Gerald's Game? Mark.
If you're feeling weird.
Casey.
Yeah, I'd agree with Mark.
John.
I'm gonna say no.
You roboted out. What did you say?
Oh, I'm gonna say no. Sorry, I'm going to no video.
Joe.
I'd say no also.
Okay. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this here movie. Let's take a quick break so that we can do some fan mail.
When you were growing up, the boogeyman was just a fantasy.
Had its own power.
The Boogeyman. The Boogeyman. He's here. Now. By the time they believe in him, it will be too late. The Boogeyman. Rated R.
This is Jonathan Brecht, Creeper, and you are listening to Bloody Good Horror.
Send your emails to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or hit us up on Twitter at BGHorror with the hashtag AskBGH. And don't forget to pick up back episodes of the show at podcast.bloodygoodhorror.com.
Degloving your hand. I just realized we didn't even talk about the part where she degloved her hand, and it was fucking. I just wanted to bring it up because, Mark's mentioned this to me too. I can't remember the last time that I physically could not look at something in a movie.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
I couldn't do it. I was upset. Yeah.
Eric, to answer your question about Movie Guide, this movie is not on it, and I have been gone so long that they've redesigned Movie Guide, and I can't find the search bar.
Son of
Oh,
a
no.
bitch! Wow. What a
Yeah, so
twist.
I just had to search.
Maybe they don't
through-
want people to search anymore.
Seriously, I just had to search through Google like a plebe.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
Top 10 list time, mofo.
Yeah. We got I put together a list of movies that I was not on for. The only ones that I think might make it for you would be Gerald's Game, this one. Creep 2, I don't know how you felt about. Happy Death Day.
Happy
and
Death
then we
Day.
also have,
1, 2,
yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Creep 2 was great, by
I
the
have
way.
10 now, and it looks like Happy Death Day is in there.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Boy.
and then we also have Jigsaw, Cult of Chucky, Flatliners, and Friend Requests. I don't know if those would make your bottom.
Jigsaw, Flatliners, and Friend Request. God, those are some garbage ass movies. What's on my bottom 3 right now?
Bye Bye Man, Rings, and Annabelle.
Nah,
Guys, I saw Annabelle Creation, by the
you
way.
can't crack that top 3, buddy.
I'm
It
sorry.
wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't like
Huh.
worst of the
That was
year bad.
Fucking
Top
garbage.
10.
Boy, the only thing I'm eyeballing here and thinking about booting is Kong Skull Island.
Oh.
But I did enjoy that. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about my list here.
Don't you mean Skung Island?
Listen,
So you would not put Creep 2 or Gerald's Game?
I
in
guess
your
not,
top 10?
because I don't know what I would bump from this list. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
much I love it, to be honest with you, but
Ooh,
Yeah.
controversy.
Oh,
you know what I'm thinking of doing too. I'm
coming at
thinking
guns
about
ablazing.
I'm thinking about bumping Get Out for my top number 1 for one of these indie things, but we'll see.
Can't wait to see where this goes.
You know what, Joe? Stand down.
All right.
The list is good for
Stand
now.
down.
All right.
I love this. You're more invested in this list this year than you have been in the collective
I've been-
10
I
years
actually-
that precedes it.
I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. We have an email.
I will
Gonna
say
make
that
for a
I
good
will
list.
probably put a lot more time into Eric's list than I will my own.
Yeah. we have an email from Dusty, but it's super long and we're running late here, so I'm going to read it, but not tonight. It is his recollections of the 10-year. So this way we'll save one for like December just so we can stretch all that out.
Please do.
All right. Joe, who's got tweets for me?
Oh my God, I got tweets. You ready?
Cool.
Huzzah!
I forgot that was your thing.
Yeah, we do tweets in 2 ways. One of them is BGH Classics. So if you are a patron, patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror, and you're listening to a back episode and we say something silly, tweet it back to us with the hashtag BGH Classics. First one is from That Baseball Joe. Just replaced Babadook with Uncle Traveling Matt, and that was Eric as a kid. That was me saying that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's become such a thing. I found someone was it Tim Clark was I think the original designer of the Boglins toys, and he was
Ooh.
like a Muppet guy, and he posted a picture of the Uncle Traveling Matt puppet with no clothes on, and I tagged Eric, and I was very proud of myself.
Yeah.
Next one's from Jesslyn35. No, Casey, if you wanted to molest a younger version of yourself, you would have to go back in time. Eric said that, and then Joe said, "Ugh, I was an ugly kid."
What episode does it say?
It says 256, but I'm not sure which one.
Oh, all right.
Jesus Christ. All right, next one. I maybe should have not read that. This next one's from Matt
What? Are
Baseball
you kidding
Joe.
me? That was great.
I said, John, you're always willing to go into the wacky zone. And Joe said, true. You remember that one night?
Episode, according to Google,
It's an easy one.
episode 256, Hatchet 3, which I couldn't tell you a thing
Holy
about.
balls.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Has anyone heard or seen anything about Victor Crowley? I see Adam Green talking about it all
Oh,
the
that
time.
might need to go on our list. A lot of the writers saw it, I know.
Really?
Oh, it's
That's
on some kind of traveling road show.
That noise you hear is
An
my
Uncle Traveling Roadshow.
That noise you hear is
Yeah.
my dismissive wanking motion that I'm making over here.
Stop it.
And whatever.
Oh,
You used to be all about Adam Green. And then he broke your heart with Digging Up the Marrow, if I
Yeah,
recall.
that movie was not
Or
good.
maybe Hatchet 3. Shit, who knows?
No, I
Anyways,
like Adam Green the person. I don't care about Victor Crowley or whatever is going on with that series. I just don't care. Those
Yeah,
movies
it's really
don't
just
have
a
a
question.
Those
particular
movies are like 90%
affinity for 'em.
unwatchable, with the exception of parts of the first one.
Stop it. 90%. The first one's fine, if not good. And the second one is less good. And the third one is not great.
Yeah, it's
but-
not Split 2. Or not Split 2. I'm sorry. Disregard me.
Beast 2.
Yes,
Beast
Beast
3.
2.
I knew where your head was at because I was thinking the same thing. All right. This last BGH classic is from Library O Congress. Eric, my lovely girlfriend, who I'm told I'm supposed to call her fiance, but that's a little too fancy for me and a little too French.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah.
Le
That sounds like
fiancé.
something Eric would say.
Yeah.
Guys, Victor Crowley stars one Tiffany Shepis.
Oh my word, Eric's back
Oh.
on board.
She was at she was at Rock and Shock when I was there
Oh,
doing the
there you
circuit.
go.
I met her at Horror Hound. She's quite delightful.
Yeah, she seems nice.
There you go. We're also on the Twitter machine with the hashtag AskBGH. If you have a question, ask it, and we will read it and answer it sometimes. This one's from That Baseball Joe. Now that Mark has abandoned us with his other family, does he listen to the shows? I'm actually here to answer that question, and the answer is no.
But how hard is it to listen to a podcast? Then you'd be up on all of our jokes.
True. I'll have to go back and listen.
You 100% have to listen to the beginning of this show because you missed a good one.
Okay, good. I will do that. I will have to. I do have to thank our patrons in our Slack group for helping me out with the movies that I need to catch up on from my absence. So if you want to get in on really thrilling topics like what movies should I watch, become a patron and we'll add you to Slack. This next one is from Mi Corazon Mi Amor, and I don't know. Someone can tell me how to pronounce this word. Michael Myers, is it Tsum? TSUM? Is that a
Oh,
thing?
Zoom Zoom, yeah. The Disney little thing, yeah.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay. And
That's
there's
what I know it is.
and there's a picture. Yeah, it's like a cute little Michael Myers head thing. There you go. It's
Not a question, but we will allow it.
It said, well, no, it's it was with an anyone with a question mark. It had a question mark.
I missed that part. Okay.
So anyone want to answer that question? No. Okay. Next one.
Yes, that is it. Yep.
Yes, that is a picture. Next one is from Jay Gowan 91. Seeing the glove scene in Gerald's game made me get up and walk away. What scene from a movie made your stomach turn?
Oh, God.
I mean, generally, I would say peeling of any sort. Like Martyrs is one that comes to mind. I mean, like the entirety of Martyrs is basically like
It's I mean,
peeling scene after peeling
it's the
scene.
bathtub scene in Martyrs that fucks me up real bad. Like that literally, I almost vomited watching that movie in that particular scene.
What was that movie? Not Adam Green, the other guy with the girl like shaving her legs when she's got the disease.
Oh,
and, like, her
Cabin
skin-
Fever?
Oh, Cabin Fever.
Yeah,
that's
that was
Not Cabin. Yeah, it was Cabin Fever, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's a toughie.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Serena,
I would say, like-
Serena Vincent. Speaking of horror bombshells from the early mid '90s or
I-
2000s.
Half of the things in the ABCs of horror or ABCs of death, is that what they're called? Like half of those that make my stomach turn. I don't know.
Like the chair, the
The chair, the like farting one, the like farting demon, isn't that? No, It's like a certain level. The scatological is almost like worse than the truly gory.
John's like the only person I know that if I ever make like a poop or fart joke, he's like, ugh, gross. And like he doesn't think
I
they're
mean, I
funny.
laugh first,
You know?
then I might say that.
I try to workshop all my poop jokes and my various.
Just like 3 pings a day about fucking poop jokes. So, oh Christ. Yeah.
Shit. Cool.
Okay.
Great. Next one is from Hack or Slashly. I get it. Is the hand/glove scene as bad as all the reviews suggest? Yes.
I already responded to her on Twitter and was like, yup.
It's pretty bad.
It's very bad.
I'd agree.
I mean, when they say degloving, it literally looks like a glove coming off.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She actually gets it back together pretty good, though. You know, with the panty liners there.
Can you say that again?
John, never.
Oh, there's a future BGH classic. She really gets it back together with the panty liners there.
I mean, I thought that was pretty clever. I would have
Yeah.
been like grabbing toilet paper and wrapping it around my hand or something, you know, like.
Right. Panty liners would not be my first thought.
Hey, liners.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
I don't ever want to hear you say that again.
That's what they were, wasn't it?
I don't think anyone calls them that. Like the maxi pads.
I don't know. Whatever.
Panty
We'll
liners.
ask-
I don't know.
we'll ask
I'm
Steve
into
when
it.
she's back.
We will not ask.
All right.
Jesus Christ. All right, next
I'm
one's from
gonna log off after this. Hey, quick question. We were just talking on the show.
is the correct nomenclature panty liners. All right, next one's from New Jersey Nick. That part where Lurch says, "You're made of moonlight" is the best part of the movie, right?
So weird.
It's definitely up there.
Sort of weird.
I didn't understand. Was the character supposed to have a speech impediment, or does that actor actually talk like that?
That's just his voice.
I mean, it's got to be hard to talk with a jaw that size, right?
Born this way.
Fair.
Was
right,
that
next
so?
one.
Wait, does that guy look like that, or is that a bunch of prosthetic makeup?
No, there was prosthetic stuff
Yeah.
going on.
Okay.
He's pretty lumpy, though.
I don't think that's okay to say. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, next one is from Gardner7001. Halloween decorations bleeding into Thanksgiving season. It's better than Christmas lights bleeding into the end of January. Thoughts? I wish more people left Halloween decorations up through November. Frankly, my neighbor is a hero and hopefully a trendsetter on the block, and then posted a picture of a spooky skeleton.
You know what's
thing.
funny?
I
I disagree too, because to me, if you let Halloween decorations linger, it just makes me sad. Like, I want to do Halloween, and you got to build up to that Halloween night, and then you have your big Halloween climax, and then the next day, it's like, I don't want to cuddle with Halloween. I want Halloween to go away.
You have to let
Like,
it
I
linger.
did it, and now I'm done. Like, I actually don't mind Christmas lingering into January.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
We still have some pumpkins sitting on a hay bale in our front yard.
Then
With-
you,
I still
sir,
have a pile of hay bales.
With Halloween, I need like a good 9 months of refractory period before I'm ready for Halloween again.
You should take care of that this weekend, Mark. You scumbag.
I mean, they're still in great shape.
No.
We
they're not.
we have our tree up.
Yeah,
gross.
ours is going up this weekend for sure.
I mean, to be fair, it's a little tiny tree that sits on an end table, but still.
Adorable. Okay,
One for
next
your
one is also from Gardner7001. If someone told me the only way, I'm just moving on. If someone told me the only way out of those cuffs was the way she had to do it, I'm certain I'd be fine rotting to death on my bed.
Yeah.
You guys?
Yeah, no, I'd probably just die. Yeah, I don't think I
Yeah.
could do it.
I mean, I've spent an inordinate amount of time thinking about what I would do to get out
I
of
mean,
that situation.
to be fair,
I
first
think you should think about what you had done, Mark, to get in that situation.
you were the situation where your husband has a heart attack on you after taking a boner
Yeah.
pill. To be
If I
fair,
had
the
$1 for every
all
time
the
my husband died on me after taking a boner pill.
all the hallucination said was the blood would be slippery, not rip the skin off of your hand like a
Yeah.
glove.
Not slippery enough. I don't know. I'm a pretty big dude. I think I could do some damage to those bedposts.
Yeah, they can't. That was my thought, is that they can't be that solid, right?
Yeah, like couldn't she like I don't know. I feel like she could have gotten a foot up there and tried to like snap him off or something. I don't know. I mean, you go through all the scenarios.
Yeah, so apparently in the book they do go through, she goes through more efforts of like trying to break
Yeah,
things.
yeah, I'm sure.
It gets like, because you're right, like in the movie it does feel like she goes there kind of quick. Like it's like it just like pops into her head and she's like, well, I guess I got to do this now.
Right. She like fell asleep and woke up 3 times and was like, I'm gonna rip my hand off to get out of here.
I mean, I will go on record and say I would do it if that's what I thought I had to do to get out of there. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah. There'd be a whole lot of effort of my 300-pound ass trying to break those bedposts. So
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that she. The thing is about the bedpost, she didn't really have the leverage to do it.
that's
I would
just
like
your
to have seen
opinion,
her
man.
try.
All right, now we've got a bunch more, so I'm going to try to go fast. This one's from Viva Lotoni. Would you ever watch a crossover with all of Stephen King's psychic kids, i.e., Carrie White, Danny Torrance, Charlie McGee, and Annie Wheaton from Rose Red?
Where they're like all in high school, like just trying to get by,
Yeah.
younger versions of themselves.
like Saved by the Bell, but with blood falling from this guy.
I'd watch that.
Actually, this is just a random aside that's related to this topic. I met a woman here in New York who was telling me about a Carrie musical. Have you guys ever heard of this? Apparently,
No.
they made a musical about it in the 80s. That was like a Broadway musical that was like a total flop, and then it has like been kind of like, I don't want to say resurrected, but like I don't know, like she was like part of a theater group that was like putting it on basically. And I was like, wait a second, there's a Carrie musical? And she's like, oh yeah. I had never heard of it. It blew my mind.
Interesting.
Huh.
It's like on the
1988
internet.
Broadway production. Yeah.
Yeah. So
How about that?
if you ever wanted more singing
How
in your
about-
Stephen King
how about
high school drama, there you go.
I mean, The Evil Dead worked as a musical, right?
Did it?
I don't know. People seem to like it.
It's still going. People still seem to be buying tickets. So
All right.
Yeah, Schnars, what's
People-
with throwing shade at The Evil Dead musical?
I mean, I didn't see it. I won't comment on whether or not it worked.
Shade Club. All right, next one's from Skizbot. Overall, I love the movie and found it to be one of the best King adaptations. However, I think it really fell apart with the rushed use of voiceover at the end. Do any of you have any other movies you like a lot but kind of hate the ending to?
Oh my God, there's probably an extensive
We've talked a
list.
lot. It takes a
Yeah.
lot. It takes a lot for a movie to really, or like an ending to really color my enjoyment of the film. But this one is like a pretty hard swerve.
Yeah, agreed.
But I don't know. Honestly, even without that ending, I'm not sure that I would still love the movie. So it doesn't really necessarily ruin it for me.
I would have liked the movie more, but I wouldn't have loved it for sure.
Word. All right, next one. Also from Skizbot. Not a question, but just want to say I love the BGH Slack, and it's one of my favorite places on the netterwebs. Thanks, dudes.
Oh.
Sure.
Quick plug. Becoming a patron at any level, ? Gets you access to our group Slack where we just bullshit all day. One of the newest.
It's $3. $3 level.
The $3 level up. Okay. Yeah. And it's fun. We've got trailers in there and music and pictures of puppies and babies and just all sorts of ridiculousness. So it's pretty fun. It's a good way to waste away the time. Okay, next one. King Township Fit. 1, how do you guys, gals, think this stacks up to the book? And 2, seriously, how jacked is Bruce Greenwood?
Super jacked, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
we talked about the book thing.
no one has read it, but
Yeah.
otherwise, great.
It stacks up insofar that it exists, and we know both of those things exist. Next one is from Bruno the Weber. Any of you have a story like this of something going wrong while doing some experimental sexy stuff? That terrifies me.
Absolutely, and I am not telling it on this show.
It is terrifying. I mean, the whole idea is super terrifying that like you're then stuck there, you know?
Yeah, if I was ever considering being handcuffed to a bed before, I am certainly not considering it now.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think like the best possible outcome is like a loved one or some stranger finds you handcuffed to a bed. Like that's the best possible outcome.
Well, I was enjoying the thread. I think it was in response to one of Eric's tweets. It was like, this is basically like a case for enabling Siri on your phone, or someone.
Yeah,
said
all I
something
would have had to do is
having-
just say, "Hey Siri, call 911. I'm stuck to this bed and I have a boner because I took a boner pill." I don't know. In my scenario, I took one too, I guess.
Siri would be like, all right, I had enough information. You can start
I
Seriously.
didn't know about the boner.
I didn't need that last part. Thank you.
Alexa, I just had a boner pill heart attack. Please send help.
Yeah.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Or maybe just, hey, warn the 911 operator that whoever comes here is going to see business.
Well, shit. You'd think that they had the house that nice. There's probably an app that tied into his boner that tell him if he's having a boner heart attack or not.
A boner heart attack.
A bone attack?
I would venture to say that your average EMT has seen at least a half dozen boner heart attacks.
Oh, God, more than that, I would think.
Oh,
All right, if you're an EMT, please write in and let us know the exact number of boner pill related heart attacks that you've seen. All right, very last one from Robale. Does anyone actually preheat their oven?
Dude, yes.
Yeah,
I saw
all the
that tweet.
time.
How do you
people not?
How do you cook anything right if you don't preheat your oven? That's bananas.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
Rope
I barely know how to cook, and I noticed.
I was
preheat my
actually
oven.
I was just listening to George Carlin's 1992 classic stand-up set, Jammin' in New York, and he has a whole thing about putting the prefix on, and and he's just bitching about things that like no one in the right mind is angry about. He's like, it's not preheating your oven, you're just heating it.
I was so confused by this dude's tweet that I thought maybe it was some inside joke that I was missing, because I'm just like, why? You have to preheat your oven, dude.
Right, what kind of fucked up things are you making in your house that you're not
No.
preheating your oven?
I bet your food is garbage.
You're gonna fuck your food
I
up,
appreciate
yeah.
you
Yeah.
listening, but you are a garbage person, Rope.
Yeah, I bet your pizza rolls are like half cold. They're not
Yeah,
supposed to be like that.
Because it's not
You-
like your oven just instantly goes to that temperature. It takes time, hence preheating. I have so many questions about this guy's life
I've
now.
never been so angry.
We're gonna need a clarification tweet for next week.
I've got enough. info.
Robale, we need explanations.
I've made my decision on this, gentlemen.
Also, R.I.P. David Cassidy, apparently.
Oh.
I just saw that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
Wow.
That's fine.
Just kidding. I'm just
I mean,
kidding.
it's not like he was Charles Manson or something.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, we didn't even. I don't even know what we would
I
say
don't
about
think we
that.
needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we needed to.
Good riddance, you crazy fuck. All right, that's it for tweets.
He got arrested for DUI in our hometown, Mark, like 2 years ago.
Charles Manson?
I didn't even know he was out.
No, David Cassidy.
But I'm fine.
Jerk.
Cool. So here we are.
And if you say, hey, go away, I will. But I think better still. I think I'll. Oh,
I
don't know.
love you.
Do you think I have a case? Please tell it to my face. I think I love you.
Love you.
But what am I so afraid of?
Yep.
Afraid that
Better
I'm
watch
not
out,
sure
Eric.
of. What are we doing next week?
Better watch out.
All right, and then we kind of came up with a few other movies during the course of the show, right? Do we think we might watch The Mummy?
I mean, I would consider it. I wouldn't be.
Fucker, why not?
I think we gotta see if there's anything that we might think is gonna be on the best of list.
I don't think we have. I've been looking at the list. I think we're mining the
All right,
bottom of
well-
the barrel now.
Yeah, it does feel like that, but we'll see. We'll see.
And if
I'm
listeners,
gonna
if
hold
you
out
have
hope that we don't
suggestions,
If
keep it
you
to
have
yourself, okay?
suggestions that we definitely haven't already done a show on, please let Joe know.
No.
Or that we're not from 2017.
info@bloodygoodhorror.com is the email address. We're also on Twitter @BGHorror with the hashtag AskBGH. And don't forget, if you want to see a live streaming video of this show every week, check us out, patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. Mark, welcome back, at least for this week.
Oh, thanks.
And,
Happy to be here.
yeah, hope you guys enjoy the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Adios.
See you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.